Hi and welcome to the lesson about binary formats and typically here I would like to demonstrate how they enforce the data. I would say data safety because if you try to insert an incompatible data even for the data at rest, you will see that the process will fail. Whereas if you do that for semi-structured data like JSON, you will of course see that it will succeed and it will make the whole data reading much more challenging. So here I will insert three rows with this simple Avro schema. So we can see that we have two long columns and one string column. And it should succeed without any issues. And as I s- so we and it's correct. We have correctly added these three rows into our location. And now I will do something different. So I have my schema which is kept aside, and now I have my data that is maybe generated by a buggy code. And here you can already see the difference and the problem we are going to have, which is this user attribute. So here is a simple numeric value, whereas here is a struct that is composed of ID attribute and a string ID value. So now when I try to append this to the location, to the other output location, you will see that the process will not succeed, and it will say that it will return an error, with the incompatible schema. So you can clearly see that it's the other serializer responsibility for that error, showing clearly that a binary file formats that have some schema can enforce the schema even in the append scenario. So append scenario is when you generate data once and later you only add new rows to it. And as a counterexample, I will show you the same thing but with JSON. So again, the first process, the first job overrides the content, and it should work correctly because there is no history at all. Yes, that's correct. We have the same data and we have the same input, but only the format. And for the second job, we have the same input, so user ID as a struct and the JSON format instead of Avro. And here you will see that despite that, we will be able to show the data, and that will also have a different schema to consume, where you can see that our user struct is represented as a string. So Spark somehow uh, reduced the struct, which is a kind of higher level data type, into something lower, which is string that can be applied commonly to kind of all different types. So even though we passed here an array or struct of struct of struct, it would still be easier to represent as a string. And as a result, you can see that if one customer needs to process this data, the customer can't simply select the user column. It would need to deal with two different formats and extract the ID content for the second writer and leave the raw data for the former writer, which makes the whole process much more challenging. And that's one of the reasons why the binary schema-based file format simplifies data consumption. And I hope that now it's a bit clearer. So even though the binary formats, remember, are not readable, they often require some extra libraries. So here you can see that I have to define this Spark Avro library. They give this extra insurance, they strengthen the data consistency and by that simplifies data reading. Thanks for watching and see you in the next lesson.